Right. Right. Can I do the show now? Would that be alright with you, doggy? Right. Let's try again. Where was we? Where were we? There we go. I never forgot the lesson. Where were we? Where were we? Oh yeah. Let me bring you lot back so I can see you all. There we go. That's better. Right. Let's say hello. First in was Alpha. Hello, Alpha, mate. Kyle came second. Anna Souza came third. Hello, Anna Souza, again and again. Rolly, hello. Jack, hello. And we're done. Okay. Every night I like to look at these celebrities. Why? Because nobody else will do it. That's why. Or they won't do it honestly. There's people out there saying it's not all of them. It is all of them. And even when you think you've found one that isn't one, it's double flipped. And double flipped is a right head. It's a right head soup. That's what it is. It mangles your brain when you realise the double flipping people. You think you've got a bean on, an handle on it, a bean on it, then all of a sudden you're not looking at flip-flops anymore, you're looking at double flip-flops, which is totally confusing. So let it be images all the way. Dean Stockwell is a woman in drag look, small face, Johnny Depp looking there, very open eyes. I'm seeing Buster Keaton as well. I'm seeing Bill Murray, but without the acne scars. High set ears. Why has he got a chest and a molester? Dirty moustache. Dean Stockwell, right there, looking a bit Liberace-ish. You should know it off by heart by now. Women are widest in the hairline, giving them what we affectionately call the five head. Draw a line down and then across. It's close set eyes, high set ears, a small mouth, a deep philtrum, lacking a trachea, an Adam's apple, or any type of beefcake neck. You've seen it many times before. The soft eyes, look, the beautiful eyelashes, the beautiful lips. They've been, remember these lips, look, you can see the surgery mark here. They've been tampered with. It used to be even more, what's the word I'm looking for? Kissable. Yeah, I do private. We still do requests. Bink. It's an egghead. Final answer. She is widest in the hairline. You've seen this face many times before. Lacking cheekbones, look. Because God only created two skeletons. I did a lovely five-head picture earlier on. Where is it? This one. Lady Gaga versus Dana Garvey. Exactly what it shows you here in the skulls. Look, short forehead, wide eyes. Short forehead, wide eyes. Women, long forehead, short eyes. Long forehead, the five head, and the closer eyes. It really is as simple as that. As much as you can't believe it, it is. And there are people who tell you out there the skulls don't work, but they do. Just the way the gates work. A forensics detective can tell if it was a male or female that committed the crime if they leave footprints. Size of shoe, etc. Will also indicate which sex you're looking at. But a man could wear high heels and cross his legs over. I agree. But in this picture here, you can see that man versus the kinky X Factor legs on that woman, all the way to the bank. That's why I think that is one of the best forensics pictures anybody's ever taken. By mistake, it was just a picture of a couple walking, but it told the truth. Look, it told the literal truth of how men walk. Men walk straight legs with a space between the feet, and that would be this set of footprints right there. Straight legs with a space between the feet. But women cross the legs over when walking. So these are all men pretending to be. Look at the size of them all. Even Donatello Versace is a dude. The Princess Prince Kate and Prince Anne, both of them are dudes, look. The silhouettes tell the truth. Art mimics life. Those two are mimicking that male piece of art right there. And there's the final answer. 3 dudes, look, all with straight legs and spaces between their feet. And then right on the end, you've got the lady with the hip twist, the shoulder tilted, and the crossed legs. It really is that simple. It's child's play. Anybody can understand forensics. When you meet people that don't want to see it, there's nothing you can do. They don't want to see it. It's hard to accept that you've been fooled this badly. And you have to have a certain amount of, I don't want to say, well, it is IQ, but it's also a certain amount of articulation to carry the load. Because most people can't carry the load. They can't accept that they're looking at penises in silky dresses. It's cock and balls all the way. But no, it's you're seeing things, but I know I'm not. It's on display. I've got hundreds of pictures of penises through dresses now and bikinis. And when it comes to the boobs, the first time I saw an FTM, and it's one of the hardest ones in the world to see, it was Bruce Lee. And it's because when I looked at Bruce Lee's chest properly, I could see scarring and his nipples were wonky. And this is what happens with nipple sensation, etc. After FTM top surgery. That's when a woman removes her breasts. They end up with saggy bits of skin, look, from the mastectomy mark, where a doctor took away the gland. The nipple gets inverted, look, because there's no muscle behind it. It's floppy skin. So when you slap that chest, here, look, you're literally slapping floppy skin. And nobody notices. Can you see this? And it's all around the world. The football players runs like this woman with her boobs just flopping around. But people won't accept it. They still think it's a man. Even when you get to the prime ministers, this is the Prime Minister of Holland, or the ex-Prime Minister of Holland, Mark Rutte. Clearly, she's got schoolgirl breasts. Clearly, the boobs have grown back. And this one, Oliver Richter, is another Dutch girl. Just explain this to me like I'm 4 years old. Go on. Explain why Oliver Richter's nipples look like Nookie Bear's eyes. Because again, the nipples are wonky. I can see scarring up the middle where a doctor removed this young lady's mammary glands. And then they fed her growth hormones till I think she's about 7'3", isn't she, this woman? She's 7'3" and then pumped her full of testosterone. She's still got those wonky titties. They're offset. But they can grow a woman 7 foot tall and make her look like a dude, look, to the untrained eye. But to us, look, that's exactly what I saw with Bruce Lee. I saw this scar in here. I don't know if you can... Are you seeing that at home? I don't know if you can see that one at home. But I could see the scar in here, look, on Bruce Lee. And I knew there was a problem. The minute I saw that, wonky titties, I had an answer. Seems like a lock connectivity. What? Oh, that's scary. Edmonton Green. Big story in Edmonton Green, London. It's all kicking off. Oh yeah, Gates, penis. That's unbelievable, that mail order bride there. Even the captain of the Titanic, Edward Green? I can't remember her name. Even the captain of the Titanic is an absolute fairy, look. Some of them stick tulips in her feet, look. She's literally tiptoeing through the tulips. She's got close set eyes and a small face. She's widest at the hips. She walks with a shoulder tilt and a hip twist. All the markers are there. Let's come back to who we're doing. Dean Stockwell. I was meant to be looking for Dean Stockwell in the back file. Give me that name. I might have already started the search actually. I can't remember. I went off on a tangent. Look, no, it's on Gates. Let's put Dean Stockwell in the back. Paste. So this one's from the TV show, The Quantum Leap. That's where I know her from. She's in multiple movies and stuff. Probably other TV shows. I can't remember what they call her. Sam is the TV name, the character from that show there. He looks like Face out the 18. Dial M for Masons in this one. I used to love this show. I really did. I could have sat and watched it forever. Walton Goggins. Yeah, I see a little bit of Walton Goggins in there. Yep. Dean Stockwell. Famous for me, though, for this TV show. The Quantum Leap. Time travelling. An Einstein theory where you can bend time, light and space. What a load of... Right. I don't know how many times... I had a good conversation earlier on. It really made a dog walker that... he's a friend of a friend, actually. I really made him think about his space bollocks. So he knew, as soon as I said about TV stations, like broadcasting a live TV show, but any type of broadcast, once they start to broadcast the signal, the broadcast itself travels on air. That's why TV shows that are live or recorded have a sign saying on air. On air. No, what's that? Get off. On air parking. Get off! Stop it! Parking. I just want on air. Google search. There we go. On air images. You got it? Yeah, they got signs in TV studios and shows saying they are on air. What does that mean? That means the signal, the frequency, is being broadcasted on the airwaves. It really is that simple. And the minute he had that concept on air, I said, so how did they talk to anybody on the moon? Now, he did say at this point, I don't believe the moon landings. I was like, wonderful. So you're partly kick-started, but you haven't continued your research. Because once you continue from the moon landings being fake, you come to the realization that the whole thing is fake. There is no space. Which means there's something else above us. The Bible tells me it's waters. Waters above and then the throne of God. And that would be an example of maybe why I see the Aurora Borealis at the North Pole. But it's you can also see, what's the other one? The Aurora Australis in the south. So you see it at the top and at the sides. If it emanates from the top and comes down the sides, that would make sense. But then why don't we see it all the way across the earth and only at the North Pole, only at the edge of the world? But anyway, back to on air. The minute I got him to recognise that fact, I said, so how are you communicating if there's no air? How do you send a signal in space? There's nothing for the signal to travel on. And then he went for the old breeze block and a feather in a vacuum. And I went, you hadn't stood in a vacuum and watched that happen. I should have brought up putting a man in a vacuum. There's only one clip of a man being put in a vacuum by NASA, and he literally started to cook in the spacesuit. He flips over backwards, and then it takes him like 20 seconds to take the pressure back in there and open the door and get him out of the suit. Because if you don't know anything, water boils in a vacuum. So that means blood inside a spacesuit is going to boil because it's in a vacuum. I've gone off tangent again, haven't I? On air. Oh, yeah. So, frequency needs a medium to travel on, and for us it's air. And once you get that concept that rockets, missiles, helicopters, hovercrafts all move by transitioning air through jets, air is the medium for them to move. When you get to space, what are you pushing against? What's the medium? Same as the frequency and the sound. You're right back. This is why nobody can hear you scream in space. They told you. No one can. Or as if it's not coming up. Hear you scream in space. From an alien movie. Because there are no aliens. There are demons, but not aliens. Nobody can hear you scream in space. Why? Because there's no air for the voice to travel on, for the frequency to move on. The only reason you can hear my voice is because my vocal cords are resonating on the air. On air. No one can hear you scream in space. Don't get me started on flat earth. Right, let me go back. So we're looking at these two monkeys who, if you can't accept this or not, they're brainwashing you into thinking that you can travel in time, or you're going to be able to travel in time. Maybe when we're dead and we're spirits, we can move back and forth like that. But right now, you're on a linear path going one way. You're getting older. You're going to die. It's a fact of life. It's the way. It's a linear movement that God created. None of us can go back and change what happened yesterday or 10 years ago. That's why Jesus said not to hang your head on these things. Forgiveness and move on. Don't cast your pearls among swine. Your bits of knowledge. If you're wasting your time, Mark Twain said, don't argue with fools because they'll just drag you down and make you look just as stupid with their own experience. And I understand it now because you're arguing with someone that will never understand it. They can't articulate themselves. They can't carry this. It's a simple answer. The world's not spinning or water's level. They're always simple answers because God created it this way. But it's the devil that lied about these things. So he lies about time travel. Their idea is, like the Terminator, sending a robot back in time to kill John Connor. Well, JC code, as you already know, is Jesus Christ. So they want to send a robot back in time to kill John Connor. Well, not to kill him, to kill Mary, to kill the mother Mary. And then there's no Jesus being born. That's what they'd love to do. That's what they're telling you in these films. And everything's coded. And everything's in your face. Alistair Crowley said you have to tell them what you're doing to them. So they do. They tell you in songs and videos, nursery rhymes. They tell you everything. Because you're being mocked. Because you're smarter than this. Is that really Dean Stockwell as a child? He looks like he's from the Lollipop Kids. Oh, Battlestar Galactica. You see, they start them off. This is a young girl, look. How old is she there? She must be, what, 7 to 10 years old, I'm guessing. Maybe a bit older. But she's already been changed and manipulated to look like a girl using chemicals. All that's left is some surgery to remove the breasts, and away you go. You end up with Dean Stockwell. But right there, you've got really close set, open eyes, high set ears, small mouth, beautiful kissable lips, look, because it's a small girl's face. That's what I'm looking at. The pouty lips of a woman, because she's got a smaller dental arch. God gave you thicker lips than a man. A man has thin lips in comparison to a girl. So no matter what age I'm looking at, I'm going to see this pouty bottom lip. The bigger bottom lip, look. Masons. They don't care as long as there's a brick wall behind them. As long as there's Freemasonry on show. They love to tell you what they are. Jerry Lewis, 2 first names. Sits like a girl. I used to love Jerry Lewis. I did. I loved all the slapstick comedians. Jim Carrey. Look at the size of that melon. Tell me, which one of them's got the bigger face look and the bigger head? It's right here. The bigger skull's here, look, because it's a woman. Dial M for Masons with a widow's peak. But she's got the longer forehead and the closer eyes, and he's got the shorter forehead, look, with the wide set eyes. There's your blockhead with the square jaw, look. Do the wide test, look. Wide. Widest underneath the eyes, look. Look at the size of that cheekbone. And then wide again at the jaw. This one is widest in the hairline. Narrow, look. There's no cheekbones. And then narrow at the jaw, because the jaw slopes inward to a pointed chin. But this one is still a granite crunching jaw. It's just been feminized, look. Dean Stockwell, what are you saying in my back file? Oh, there's no Dean Stockwell. Do you know what that means? There's no Gates. I'm out of pictures. We're about to find out. Walking. She's standing, but she's standing in a woman's posture. That is a big setup. That is a big chicken nom nom lot. Look at the width on that leg. Big thighs. Does my bum look big in this? Yes, it does. This is why I ain't got Dean's. Oh, that might be one there, though. Dean Stockwell's feet. Very curvy. He's a bit of a beefcake, that one there, wouldn't you say? That's the closest you've got to a gate on Dean Stockwell. I bet there's loads in the TV series, look. Loads of them. Oh, there's one, I think. Is that you? Oh no, someone else mincing. Shoulder tilt, look. It's from a movie. Oh, it's from the same movie, same show. I don't know if that's Dean Stockwell. I don't think it is. My, what big shoulders you have. Ignore the fake tatas. He's got a big neck, he's got a square jaw. Standing again. There's no gate. Oh, maybe one there if I'm lucky. Can't quite see it because he's wearing black. I think that's a flamingo foot. I just can't see it because of the blackness. Wow, he looks like Johnny Depp and River Phoenix there. And this is how long it's been going on, boys and girls. But you don't see him holding up the Baphomet so much in the past, do you? You don't see him doing the 2 fingers, the OK or anything. It's a more modern day thing that they're doing. Wow, he's got far apart eyes, hasn't he, him? Look at them bad boys. Who is that? European film star, Millie Perkins. Millie's got some wide ass cheekbones, hasn't he? Thick brow bone kicking in the corner of his skull. Oh, look at that. Look at that one. Absolute egghead. I don't know who that is either, but you're not passing. Dean Stockwell's got no gates, and I haven't got a meme on him, so that means I've already looked. And there's nothing here. Nope. Right, I'm done. Let's get rid of that one. We'll start again. Bink. Billy Crystal, BC, 33. Two first names. I think I might have already done Billy Crystal. Let's copy and paste it. I think I did it when I did Meg Ryan. Two first names. Billy Crystal, search. Right there. Billy Crystal. Done. Next. John Goodman. Oh. Have we done? I think I've done John Goodman as well already. Let's find out. John Goodman. Son of Man Code. The GoodMAN. Paste. Oh, maybe not. Maybe we ain't got John Goodman. I'm just going to go down the list because it's a... Sometimes it says I haven't done it, and I have. And they've buried it halfway down the list. Even though it's a specific search. Right, it's not showing. Let's go back to the top. We'll do John Goodman, why not? Post you into the back file, John. You see, some of these people don't have gates. And it's very rare I do single skull checks. Very rare. I like to have multiple choices of both skull and gate. That's a nice one there, but the bag's in the way. Oh, she looks worn out there, doesn't she? He's got a big neck, whoever that is. I'm just saying. Oh, it is his husband. Right there. He looks a bit like John Candy there, I'm seeing. Again, it's the female skull. John Goodman, Godman, whatever you want to say. They don't care as long as there's a brick wall in the background. Masons. She looks like she's lost a bit of weight there, doesn't she? I wouldn't have recognised that as John Goodman. She's lost quite a lot of weight. She's got massive hips. There's a great female face there, look. Absolutely no jawbone, female chin, small dentures, close set eye. Stick a beard on it. Looks like the Jezebel. We've got a Getty seal. Telling you, you're looking at the wrong skeletons. Deep set, far apart eyes with big cheekbones. Coffee bean eyes, no cheekbones. John Goodman, and again. Mickey Mouse ears in the hairline, look. Dial M for Masons. Soft, estrogen filled eyes. No cheekbones, pink lips, no jawbone, no neck, look. No neck, no trachea. And they like to put man in the name. It like enforces on you that you're looking at a man, John Goodman, when it's a woman. She's got a squashy face, look. She's widest in the hairline. She's got no jawbone. It's just subcutaneous layers of fat. Just the way a woman gets. John Goodman walking. Open this one. Not today. Yeah, she's tilting a lot. She has lost a lot of weight, hasn't she? I swear I've already done John Goodman. These pictures, I'm remembering them, and when I remember them, it's because they're recent, within the last year or so. There's a nice one. That's game over right there, John Goodman. Thanks for playing CSI with us all. There's another one here. It's a bit off the cock, but she's still strutting. She's still tilting, look. Twisting at the hip, short arms. There's a nice one. She's looking frail. You're going to meet your maker. There's a nice one, I think. It's just offset. Look at the size of those hips. The McDonald's arch, look. You can't walk straight, look. Ski with legs. John GoodMAN. Game over, John. You're a woman. Thanks for playing CSI. That was a good film. The Big Lebowski. I did like that. There's a real woman with a diamond. There's a woman with flamingo. Oh, it's Clint Eastwood. And that man, he's crossing his legs over because there's no diamond, look. This one's got a diamond, but this one doesn't. Because his legs are straight. An ancient Welsh footpath. I'll tell you what right now, that looks like a real girl. Shoulder tilted, hip twisted, full crossed over, arms akimbo. Real girl right there. Real woman. You don't see them very often, do you? On the internet, I mean. We're done. John GoodMAN's a woman. I should have her in the back file. Let's have a look. We do. We've got a couple of them. John. Oops.